Hey there, Saki here from SAKITECH, and in today's video, I will share 150 plus tips, tricks, and features for your Samsung Galaxy S9 or S9 Plus. The S9 and the S9 Plus are fantastic smartphones full of deep and rich features. And of course, I want you to master the use of your newly acquired smartphone for maximum owner satisfaction. So let's dive in and discover tons of fantastic tactics. The video will be broken down into sections. I will go over customization tactics, battery optimization tips, full tutorials on the edge panels of your smartphone, advanced tips and tricks, and many other general tips regarding your smartphone. I have also time-coded each separate section for your convenience for the sake of clarity. And also, if you're wondering what case I'm using for my Samsung Galaxy S9 or the S9 Plus, see the link in the description box below. It's an official case from Samsung that has great style and protection. Link will be in the description down below. And of course, if you do use Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, make sure to follow me on all at SAKITECH Online for the latest updates. Alright, let's dive in and discover everything. Alright, so the very first thing I want you guys to do is to go to the settings and quickly change the device of your name. So scroll all the way down, go to About Phone, and then tap on Edit here where it says Galaxy S9 Plus, or it may say something else in your case. So just tap that, and it's going to allow you to change the name of your device. So in my case, what I do is I just say something like Saki S9 Plus, and then I click Done, and now my device has a unique name for me to actually recognize it when I connect other Bluetooth device to the phone or when I connect the phone to other Bluetooth devices. Now, one more thing I'm going to show you guys with the lock screen is how to modify. This is actually new in the Galaxy S9 Plus also. You can actually modify, let's go to this clock can be fully modified. So what you want to do is you want to go to the settings, you want to go to the lock screen and security, and you want to go into the clock and you want to go into the clock and face widgets, and we'll look at all this other stuff here in a minute. But tap on clock style and tap on lock screen, and then from here you can have all these different clock styles on the actual lock screen, and you can even change the type, which is all this stuff, or you can change the color. So let's go with a you can do combination colors. There's the rec color. It's hard to see a little bit because the background is so light, but let's just keep it. But the idea is you can change the color. So let's see if I can get a dark color here. Click Done. Okay, so there we go. And then once you're ready, you can, like I said, you can change the type and the color. Okay, they have all these different nice types. Look at that one. So let's click Apply. That looks nice. Now if I go to the actual lock screen, you'll see that the clock style is now changed. This is an absolutely fantastic way to customize your smartphone's interface. And the next thing I quickly like to show to people is if you go into the lock screen, there's something that you'll notice, which is not noticeable right away, but all these phones have in fact face widgets. So you can scroll over to access various different face widgets. So let me show you how to enable those. Go to the settings. Go into the lock screen, which is right here, lock screen and security, and then just scroll down a little bit and it says clock and face widgets. You tap on this guy, and there's a couple things you can do here. The first thing I like to do is tap on the face widgets and simply enable all these guys. So I have a music controller, today's schedule, and a next alarm now set up as a face widget. Now if I wanted to, I can also reorder these by tapping the reorder button. So I can have the alarm show up on the top just by dragging it over here. Now let me quickly show you what that looks like. So let's go back here. Let's go home, lock the screen, turn it again. And now when I swipe over, that's the next alarm. If I swipe over, if I had any music playing, it would be showing up right here. I would have a play button and a previous and next button. And if I go over here, that is in fact my calendar. So that's fantastic. Now let me go to the settings over here, and one more thing I want you guys to do is if you go to lock screen and security, go back into the face widgets, tap on contact information, and from here just enter a text that shows up on the lock screen. So I can just say in this scenario, just say SAKITECH, just to personalize my device a little bit, And over here it says where to show. If you tap on this, it allows you to show it on the lock screen, on the always on display, or both. I'm going to talk about the always on display in a little bit. So for now, let's just click both and click done, and then go back home, lock the screen, turn it on, and as you can see, right under the date over here, it's going to say SAKITECH. So you can personalize your device in this way. Now let's go back into the phone, and I want to quickly show you guys something really cool you can do with the edges of the smartphone. So basically, when somebody sends you a text message or somebody calls you or you get any notification from something like the WhatsApp application or any other application, you can really have some nice effects on your smartphone that actually glow around the edges of the device. So what you want to do is you want to go to the display and then scroll down to the edge screen, tap on the edge screen, and then tap on edge lighting, tap on that, and make sure you enable this to be always, and then you scroll down. Over here it says edge lighting effect. You tap on it. You can have a bunch of different effects. Let me just change the size of that so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So that's exactly what's going to happen when you get a text message. You can also change the color of it. So I can tap over here. I can pick the red color. So this is exactly what happens when you get a text message. Again, if I tap over here, let's say I want the green one. Again, the edge is going to light nicely with a green glow around the edges, and a small notification is going to appear on the top. And as you can see over here, you can change the transparency, the color, the size of that actual glow around the edges. Also, if you tap on the effect over here, you can change the effect from basic to multicolor, from multicolor to glow, and then from glow to also glitter. So you have all these beautiful customization options when it comes to actual text messages or any other notification. So that's the glow. Let's go back to color. Just keep that in red. And that's exactly what it's going to look like. Fantastic. And then what else you can do is you can tap on this over here. And what I want you to do is, if you want to see this kind of notification for any available app, just tap on all available apps. Or if you don't want that, you can customize individual apps. Okay? So if you get a message, then it's going to glow. But if anything else happens, it's not going to glow the edges the way I just showed it. So let me just keep this on all available apps. And let's move on to the next fantastic tip. Let me send myself a quick message really quick so you can just see this thing in real time. So let me click send on my other phone, and I'll get a text message. And as you can see, there was a green glow around the edges and also a little notification on the top. All came in the green color that I chose. All right. The next thing I want to talk about has to do with folders. So let me just grab two apps and put them on the home screen real quick. Or as a matter of fact, let me just grab this folder here. Let me just put it on the home screen right over here. And basically what I'm going to do is I want to color code that folder. It's very simple. You tap on the actual folder. You tap on this icon here, the circle, and you can actually color code this folder. Now with the Samsung Galaxy S9, with the latest updates, you are able to pick any color that you want, which is something I absolutely love. So I can have this in red color, and then I can click done, and now that folder is going to be in red color. This is a great way to customize your individual folders and color code them. And let me show you one more thing. When you swipe down, it goes to the app drawer. When you swipe up, it goes to the app drawer. This is a ability. These are features you can actually change. So when I pull down, I want the notifications panel to come down. What I want to do is I want to press and hold on the home screen and then go into the home screen settings. And from there, basically, all you want to do is enable this thing here. It says quick open notification panel. If you enable this, and if I go back out, now when I pull this down, it's going to actually pull down the notifications panel, which is absolutely great. We're not having any wasted movement. So if I go up, it brings up the apps. And if I go down, it brings down the notifications panel, which makes it very easy to bring it down if you're using your phone with one hand and you just want to use your thumb to take a look at the notifications really quickly. And one more thing you can do is, as you can see at the bottom, you do not have an app button. You have to scroll up to go into the apps. If you do want the apps button, that's actually possible. Again, press and hold, go to the home screen settings, and then tap on the apps button and simply say show apps button. Click apply, then go back out of home, and now the extra app that was here actually got switched over to a new home screen, the camera, so we can leave it there. But now you have the apps button. You don't have to swipe up. You can just press this and go straight to the app drawer. All right, let's move on to the next tip. Now, one more thing I like to do is I usually don't have a security on my phone, and I don't recommend that you do that, but let me show you a trick you can employ if you don't have any PIN number or passcode or any kind of biometric security enabled. What you could do is, let's turn off the phone. You can press this area here, just press and hold, and it just unlocks the phone and goes straight into the home screen. So how do you actually enable that? What you want to do is you want to go to the settings, display, and just scroll down to navigation bar. You tap on this guy, and over here it says unlock with home button. So if this is enabled, what I just did actually happens. So hard press the home button. This home button here actually is a real button. It's pressure sensitive. You can press on it and it gives you a taptic feedback. But basically, if you hard press this, it unlocks the phone and goes straight into your home screen. Now, if I didn't have this, let's say I didn't have this enabled and I was in the lock screen here. If I press it, whoops, it goes to the actual lock screen. It doesn't go to the home screen directly. But if I have that thing enabled, let me just unlock that, go back in, display, scroll down to the navigation bar, and then if I have this enabled, what I just showed you a couple seconds ago actually happens. So if I turn off the phone, I just press this button and boom, it comes right up. All right, so that's an easy shortcut to go directly into your phone. Now let's go back to that option, the navigation bar settings here. The other things you can do here is the navigation bar is the bar at the bottom here. What you can do is you can actually color code it to match your own style. So let's say this is dark gray here. So you can change it that color. You can have it light pink. And all these colors are going to be light and transparent, but you can in fact pick different colors. So let me keep it on this one. Now, as you can see, it looks a little bit different. And on the top of that, you see there's a little button here. It's a black dot. That's this thing right here, show and hide button. Now, if you disable this, the black dot goes away. So what's the functionality of this? Let's enable this guy. If you double tap the black dot, the navigation bar disappears, giving you a full and immersive view of the actual screen. If you want to bring it back, you just go like this, and you double tap it again, and that locks it in place. And this applies at any app. You can go to Chrome, you can go to YouTube app, you can go to any app, and this is going to work. So if you double tap it, it disappears. You just bring it up like this, and if you'd like to keep it permanently, just double tap it again. Oops, double tap. And it actually locks into place. So that's one option you have here. That's the color option. And then you can change the pressure sensitivity of the home button. So if I tap on this, you can say to the phone that only activate the pressure sensitive home button if I press it really hard. And that's the pressure test here. You can actually tap on this and then you can test the sensitivity of it. Okay, so if I keep it here in the medium, for me, that actually works best. So let's go back here. And the other thing I want to talk about here, obviously, is the button layout at the bottom here. If you tap on this guy, you can actually switch the recent keys and the back keys amongst each other. They can swap places. Whatever works for you. So I like it this way. The back key is here, and this is the recent apps key. I like it right there. Okay, so those are the navigation bar tips and tricks. Let's move on to the next tip and discover even more. So what is the always on display? It's basically a display that remains on even if you turn off the screen of your smartphone. So if I turn off the screen right here, a display is going to pop up and it's going to give me basic information such as the clock, the date, my signature here that I added earlier, and of course the text messages, if any. It'll give me a little notifications basically at the bottom here. Okay, and then I can go into the to the home screen here. You unlock your phone, go inside. Let's take a look at how to customize the always on display. So if you go to the settings, and if you go into the lock screen and security, you're going to find the always on display right over here somewhere. I think I missed it. Right there. Okay, so you tap on this guy, And first of all, make sure it's enabled. Just remember, when you enable the always on display, it does eat more battery life. So I do not recommend having this on if you are actually basically maybe you're on the go, you're doing some business trip or whatever, and you don't have access to chargers all over the place. Then I would disable this. But if you have chargers all over the place, then enable this because it is a really nice and fancy option. So what I like to do is over here it says set a schedule for the always on display. I don't like the schedules. I just like to make sure it is shown at all times. So if you enable this, it's going to show the always on display all the time, day and night. But if you disable this, it goes by a schedule that you can actually customize. Okay, so maybe you want the always on display to be visible at nighttime. Then you can do the set schedule. But regardless, that's not the big deal. The biggest thing about the always on display is how much you can customize this awesome little thing. Now, if you want to actually customize the always on display, you cannot do it here. What you have to do is go back out and go to that screen that I went earlier into, the clock and face widgets. You tap on this, then you tap on clock style, and then you actually pick your clock style from right here. So as you can see, you can switch between all these different styles here, different clock styles on your always on display. And the other thing you can do is you can tap on color and actually make changes to the actual color you want to see on your always on display. So type and color. So what is this over here? That's not bad. And that's another one right here. Okay. So if I pick this one here, when I'm ready, I click apply. But before that, I just want to show you all the other options you have. So you have calendars, dual clocks. You can set images if you want to here. But I just like this one here. So let's keep that. Click apply and then go back home. Then go to the lock screen. I'm going to show you how it looks different. There we go. It's going to come by itself. And boom. So that's the new always on display. So it's fully customizable, which is quite amazing. Now there's actually two ways to access the settings of the edge panels. The first one is if you pull this thing in the edge panel screen, you can tap on the settings button here, and that takes you straight into the actual edge panels where you can add or remove a panel. Now when I say a panel, I'm talking about this single vertical line. So that's one panel, that's another panel, that's another panel. So if you go to the settings, you can change the panels. Now the other way to access the edge panel settings is if you go to the settings, and then if you go to display, and if you scroll down over to the edge screen and you tap it, and then from here you can access the edge panels from here. So let's go right in. Now first and foremost, I just want to let you know that you can disable the edge panels. You can just click that button, and now we don't have any more edge screen or edge panels. But if you click this, it is enabled, and the best thing to do is to in fact customize it. So let's go right in here. And this one is pretty straightforward. If you don't want an edge panel, you simply uncheck it and it's not there anymore. So if I pull it in right now, you're going to see the weather panel, but you're not going to see the smart select that I just removed. But if I want to put it back in, I just click that, I go right back in, and the smart select shows up right there. Okay. So the other thing I need you guys to know is the maximum amount of panels you can add. So right now we have 6 active panels. So let's do 7, 8, 9. And let's try to do 10. And as you can see, you can only have up to 9 maximum panels on your edge screen. So just keep that in mind. The other thing I want to show you guys is, let me disable the extra ones over here, is that you can actually reorder the panels based on how you like it. So when you pull this in, what do you want to see first and second and third? So basically what you want to do is you want to tap this 3 dots on the top right, tap it and tap on reorder. And then let's say I want the weather panel to be in the first place. I can just grab this guy, put it right over here, and then go right back. And now it is in fact in first position. So if I pull the panels, the weather panel is going to be in the first position. So just keep that in mind as well. Now one more very important thing is the edge handle. So this handle here basically sits on the side of the screen and you pull it in. But what you can do is you can even customize the handle itself. You can change the position, and you can also change the size and even the color. So let me show you how to get that done. So let's pull the edge panels in, go to the setting from this route, and then what you want to do is you want to tap again those 3 dots on the top, and then go to Edge Panel Handle. You tap on the Edge Panel Handle, and as you can see, I have all these positioning tools. So I can tap on left, and the panel goes to the left side, and I can actually move the panel just like that. I can put it at the bottom here, and then I can also change the size of the panel. So I can actually, let me just put it right here so you can see it. So I can actually resize the panel, as you can see. Okay, so all up to you. It's all your personal style. And then you can also change the transparency of it. So you cannot change the color, but you can change the transparency. So it's either fully bold, or you can go like this and it becomes kind of disappearing, and you can make it invisible if you so desire. Now I like to see mine completely so I don't make any mistakes. So it's right there. And I do like to keep mine large. And then of course I like it on the right side. Okay, so I just pull it in whenever I want to. One more thing you can do is you can enable this option here. This option says move from any screen. So from any screen means no matter where you are, you can actually move the edge panel around. What you can do is, if this is enabled, is you can actually tap and hold on the panel, and then you can grab it and you can put it on the other side. Or you can tap and hold it, and once you see that circular arrow icon, you can actually pull it up or down as you desire. Okay, so that's the option over here. Tap, Edge Panel Handle, this one right here. So that's the Edge Panel Handle. Now let me talk about one more thing regarding the actual edge panels. When you first buy the phone and you go into the settings, you may not see everything that I'm seeing right here. That's because I went out and I actually downloaded extra edge panels. You can in fact tap on the download button and install even more panels from the store. So you have some paid panels and you have some free panels. But if you wanted to actually download a panel, you simply, let me just pick something that looks nice over here. There we have a calendar panel. So let me download that. To download, you just tap on that button. It starts to download that. And then when you go back into your panels, you'll see, let me go back, go to the actual edge panel settings. So when you go over here, the new download is going to appear all the way at the end, and I can add that to my actual panels. Now I have a calendar panel at the end over here, this guy right here. All right, so if I want to uninstall a panel, all I do is I tap this icon, I tap on uninstall, and I choose the panel that I don't want. So I can uninstall panels if I don't need them, and that's gone. If you need that, you would have to go back to the store and re-download that panel. By the way, there's one more way to actually access your panels. You can pull in the edge panels. One thing you can do is you can scroll through the panels just like that, or you can actually tap this these three lines over here, and that gives you access to all the panels. Okay, so you can actually from here quickly select the panel that you want instead of actually browsing through, sliding through each panel just like that. So that's a fantastic little tactic they added. I really like that one. Okay, those are the edge panels. Now let's talk about the edge lighting. But before I do, I'm going to show you one thing really quickly. This panel here is one of my favorite panels. I recommend that you guys use it as well. So basically this panel replicates the keys that are at the bottom here. So you have the home key right here, you have the recents key right here, you have the back key right here, and you want to have a screen capture key and a lock screen key. So if I tap this, the screen just gets locked, which is fantastic. So with the same token, if I tap on this one, it's going to bring up the recent applications. Okay, so it's nice to have it on the side just in case. So basically, that's everything that you need to know in regards to the edge panels. What I do recommend is for you guys to go in and actually take a look at the individual edge panels to see which ones you like. Even the edge panels themselves have their own customization. For example, if I go to the settings here, and if I pick this one here, the apps edge, I can tap on edit, and this allows me to add app shortcuts to my actual panel. So I can do the camera, the chase, and then of course, as soon as I go out here, you'll see that the changes reflect right over here. And you can also go and edit them right from here. You can tap on edit, you can remove apps, you can add other apps. Okay, absolutely fantastic. This is an amazing level of customization. on just one of the features of the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus. Alright, so let's talk about all these advanced tactics. So let's go to the settings, and they're all coupled under a menu. It's called the advanced features right over here. So tap on that, and the one on the top should be enabled by default. If it is not, make sure it is enabled. This makes sure when you're charging your smartphone on a wireless charging pad that in fact it is using the fast wireless charging standard for faster charging speeds. The next one over here is pretty simple. Basically, if you enable this, as long as you are staring at the actual phone, the sensors on the front of the phone actually sense that you're looking at it, and it makes sure that the screen actually stays awake so long as you're staring directly into the screen, like this image right over here. So make sure that it's enabled if that's a feature that you're in fact looking for. Now let's go back, and then the next one is the games. So I'm going to talk about the games mode towards the end because it is quite in depth. So let me skip this for now. I'm going to come right back to it towards the ending. It's a fantastic feature as well. This is actually one of my favorite features. So this is the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus, but maybe you have the Samsung Galaxy S9, which is a smaller form factor. This feature may not be that important for S9 users. For the S9 Plus, however, the one-handed mode makes one-handed operation very easy. So let's go inside. By the way, if you click over here, it turns on the option. But if you tap towards the left side, it goes into the detailed settings. So basically, if you enable this, it enables the one-handed mode. And what you can do is you can do a couple things to activate the one-handed mode. You can use a gesture, or you can use the home button. I like to use the home button. So let's tap on this guy. And let's tap on the home button 3 times, and I'm going to show you exactly what happens. So 1, 2, 3, and boom, it's actually lowered in size, so now you can use it easier with one hand. Now, of course, you may be left-handed or right-handed. If you are left-handed and you're using it like this, you can tap on this icon. It's going to left justify for easier access. So you can basically touch the entire screen just with your thumb. And of course, one more thing you can do, this may be a little bit too small for you to see everything. What you can do is you can press on the corner here, and you can actually increase the size of that one-handed mode window mode. So that's also a fantastic customization feature. When you're done with the one-handed mode, all you do is tap anywhere on the screen, and boom, it goes right back to the regular standard. All right, so that's the one-handed mode. I would just keep it enabled by default, and I do recommend using the button instead of the gesture because with the gesture, when you accidentally swipe from the corners, it might activate the one-handed mode without you having to actually need it. Now the next one is actually another one of my favorites. It's the finger sensor gestures. So basically, if you enable this, you can use a fingerprint sensor to bring down the notifications panel. So let me show you how that works. So grab the phone, and basically this is what you do. You pull this down, and the control center pops right up, as you can see. If you pull it up, it goes up. If you pull it down, it comes back. And all I'm doing in the back here is this gesture. Okay? So that's absolutely fantastic. So make sure that is enabled. It's a really nice way to access the screen. And the next one over here is the quick launch camera. So basically, I recommend that you have this enabled at all times. It allows you to just double tap the power button, which launches the camera from any screen, even if your phone is actually turned off. So if my phone was turned off right now, and let's say I was walking around and I saw something, I want to take a quick shot off, all I do is pull the phone from my pocket, double tap the power button in speed, and boom, it launches the camera right away. Let me just keep that on. And then from here, you can start to take pictures on the spot immediately. Of course, you cannot see anything right now because the camera is covered, but here it is. The camera has been launched, as you can see. All right, so that's the quick camera gesture. Let's go back in here, and there we are. The next one over here, if you tap this, it allows you to launch the Device Assistant app. The Device Assistant app is simply the Google Assistant in this scenario. And if you have anything else available, you can use that as well. So if you do tap on this one over here, it actually shows you that it can go to the internet. It can do nothing. If you don't want it, you can actually disable it. Or you can tap this, and that's going to allow you to bring up Google Assistant, basically just like this. If you press and hold, boom, it's going to come right up. I didn't set it up yet, but after you set it up, you can ask the Google Assistant any question that you want. Or, like I said, if you tap this guy, oops, if you tap over here, now again, if you tap on this side, it goes to the settings, but if you tap on this side, it goes into the options. So if you click none, and if you press and hold, nothing happens. Okay, so Google Assistant can actually be disabled if you don't desire it. Then I can tap this. I like to use it, so I'm going to keep it right here. Just agree to the terms, go right back. All right, so let's go down. And the next option that we have is called a multi-window. So this is the multitasking option on the actual smartphone. Now if I tap on multi-window, there's a couple options here. Let's look at this one first. This is the pop-up view action. So if I enable the pop-up view action, what I can do is if I launch something like the, let's say, calculator over here, so what I can do is I can actually put my finger here. I'm putting this over here so it doesn't slide the phone, but I can go like that. Oops. And that's going to allow me to minimize that window. It becomes a pop-up window. I can put this anywhere that I want if I so desire. And I can even, what I can do is I can tap this icon. That's going to minimize that app. And I can put it anywhere on the screen for later usage. And of course, if I tap on it anytime, it expands. And I can resize it at all times. I can even make it smaller if I wanted to. And I can tap this icon in the middle, and that's going to maximize it. All right? So that's the pop-up view action over here. If you enable this, you can use it on many apps. You can use it on Chrome, on the phone application, on the calendar application, on the calculator application, and many other Samsung built-in apps. Now this one here, the use recent apps, is you can enable this. And if you go inside, you have two options. You can either use the split screen view or the snap window. With the split screen view, it's very simple. So let's say that I have this screen running here, but I want another screen at the bottom or the top. What's going to happen is I can press and hold the recents button, and it's going to activate the multitasking mode. It's going to split the screen. Now, whatever app you're focused on is going to go to the top by default, and the other app can open at the bottom. So let's try that real quick. Press and hold. Boom. So that is on the top now. And then at the bottom from here, you can choose any other app. And now you can do split screen multitasking. Okay. So that's why that's how you use the recent apps key. Now again, you can disable that. You can still do multi-window if you tap this. And if you tap that double icon over here, that still allows you to activate multi-window. But when you have this enabled, let me pull this down. Okay, when you have this enabled, it just makes launching the multi-window much easier. Again, any screen that you're looking on, let's go out here and launch another app here. Let's just go to Google. Okay, now let's say I want to use this and another window at the same time. I tap and hold on recents. Boom, it shifts the main app to the top, and at the bottom I can either pick one of these guys or I can go to the app list and I can multitask with any available and supported app. There you go. Now when you're done with it, when you want to cancel it, you can press and hold one more time, and again the window on the top covers the entire screen and the window on the bottom disappears. So that's the recents button for multitasking. And again, you can also do the snap window. Now instead of doing a split screen, it will do the snap window. So tap on snap window, press and hold, boom. So basically you can select an area of any given app, click done, it snaps that to the top, and at the bottom you can do multitasking. Now the great thing with these things is they're always resizable, so you can always customize it later. But that's snap window and multitasking using the recents button. Alright, so let's exit from everything here and go back into the actual setting. Go back into advanced features. So that was a multi-window multitasking. And then you have the Smart Capture. Smart Capture basically allows you to capture the screen. So basically what Smart Captures allow you to do is if you slide your hand over the screen, it takes a screenshot. Now when you're sliding your hand over the screen, you have to make sure that the bottom of your hand is actually touching the screen. So when you swipe over like this, it just took a screenshot, and then it gives me other options at the bottom here. I can actually crop this image now or whatever, and then I can save it. Okay, but again, this is to capture the screen by swiping your hand across the display. So that's Smart Capture. The next one over here is palm swipe to capture. The difference, they're actually the exact same thing. Okay, so this one also you swipe the screen, takes an image, but this one over here, if this is enabled, it allows you to add extra options after you capture. So if I swipe my hand right now, it took the image, but then it's also giving me all these other options at the bottom, as you just saw. But if I didn't have the Smart Capture enabled, if I had disabled this, I can still do the swipe to capture, but it's just going to save the image, take the screenshot, and save it directly into the gallery. But if this is enabled, not only does it save it, not only does it take a screenshot, it gives me additional options at the bottom. Oops. There we go. These options right here. So I can draw on it now and all that stuff. So that's why the Smart Capture and the palm swipe to capture work hand in hand if you so desire. Alright, so the next one is direct call. This is a very cool option if you know how to use it. Basically, if your phone rings and you pick up the phone and you put it to your ear, just like this girl over here, it's going to automatically answer the phone. That's not bad at all. Now let's go back. The easy mute option is another great thing. So if I tap on this one and if I enable it, basically if somebody calls you or if your alarm rings, you can mute the alarm or the call simply by putting your hand on the screen or by flipping your device like this and put it on the table. And that's going to make sure that the alarm actually turns off, or if somebody's calling you, that call gets muted. That's a very convenient little feature. Now if you go back over here, we have the swipe to call or send messages. If I tap on this one, you can swipe on a contact to actually send a message to them or take a call or make a call. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to the phone. So let's go to the phone and we have a contact here, the recent contacts. Here's a contact right here. What I can do is I can swipe to the left on top of the contact like this. That's going to activate the text messaging features. I can just send a text. Or if I go back here and I swipe this way, oops, if I swipe this way on a contact, it can make a call. Okay, so if I swipe all the way, it's going to actually start making the call. Okay, so another great little feature. Now let's go back into advanced features and keep traversing through that menu. Let's go all the way down, and over here we have the dual messenger. I'm going to skip this feature. This feature basically allows you to run two different instances of the same application, such as Facebook or Facebook Messenger or WhatsApp. So you can have two Facebook accounts running on two separate Facebook apps. It's a nice feature if you have double accounts for whatever reason. And then let's go over here. This is the send SOS messages. If you tap on this guy, you can enable this, and basically you have to agree to terms with this thing. What it allows you to do is, if you enable this, I'm not going to do it right now, it allows you to send a stress signal to a quick contact. And what you can do, you know what, let's enable that real quick. Let's add a recipient or create a contact. So you can create a contact, emergency contact. Let's say the phone number is, click save. So what you can do right now, let's add that. Okay, so he's been added, the emergency contact right here. So what's going to happen is, if you press the power button quickly 3 times, it's going to take a picture with the front camera, the rear camera, and it's going to attach 5 seconds of audio after you press the button, and then it's going to send a text message to that person, the emergency contact that we just created. All right, could be your father, could be your mother, your brother, your sister, your friend, whatever. You can also disable these options, but I recommend that you, if you want this option, it's nice to have these on. It will send a picture using the front and the rear camera, and also a 5-second audio, and that might give a clue to the person it goes to in case you are in real trouble. Okay, so that's send SOS messages. Let's go back here, and then over here what we have is we have direct share. Just enable this by default. Anytime you're sharing a photo or anything like that, this brings up a bunch of quick contacts to the top of your screen, so you can just share with them directly. Then we have the video enhancer. Again, something I would like you to enable, because if you watch the video on any one of these apps, it's going to enhance the quality of your videos. It's going to give you a brighter and more vivid color, and that's going to be better. So even if you download more apps, they're going to show up right here. So right now I don't have too many apps available, but if I download Netflix, Crunchyroll, Amazon Prime, whatever, it's all going to show up right here, and it's going to enhance the video playback on that thing. Now let's go back here, and then what we have here is the touch sensitivity. I would increase this if you're using a screen protector. So I'm not using one, I never do, but if you are using a screen protector, enable this, so even with the screen protector on your phone, when you touch the phone, it works in optimum performance. Okay, so these are all the advanced features. Let's go back up here and talk about the games. So let's go right inside and then enable the game launcher. I can either click this button or I can tap over here and then click it again, and it's gonna ask me, do you want to add the game launcher to the home screen? Let's click add. I'm gonna show you exactly what happens. So let's go back here, and if I swipe over now, there's gonna be something called a game launcher sitting in the home screen. I can launch this guy, and then if there's any games that I have downloaded before, they're gonna show up here automatically. Okay, and it's even saying you can press and hold and get some actual options on the actual game. We're not going to do that right now. But what I want to show you is at the bottom here, you can switch between different performance modes. So we have the normal mode. If I tap it again, it goes to the battery saver mode. If I tap it one more time, it goes into the high performance mode, which is the best mode to play games in. But you can also be pretty satisfied with just the normal performance mode. Now, the big thing with the game launcher is when you actually launch and play a game. So, by the way, you can also swipe up here, and it's going to give you some more games you can download here. Okay, that's not a big deal. But if you launch a game, let's launch a game right now. What's going to happen is you're going to see a small toolbox appear at the bottom here. You can tap these toolbox as the game is playing and get a bunch of cool options. The coolest of these options is the record button, which allows you to record the gameplay. Oops. That allows you to record the gameplay or take a screenshot while you're actually playing a game. You can also enable full screen mode, no alerts during the game mode. So if you're playing the game and somebody sends you a text message, it's not going to accept that because you're playing a game. And all these other things here you can explore by yourself. Okay, but the biggest thing is the screenshot and the record. You can actually record gameplay and then upload that to YouTube or whatever you want. All right, so that tool here falls to the bottom left. Now let's go back here, and that's the game launcher. But that's how simple it is. All right, so that's a fantastic thing. But that basically is everything with the advanced features. So if you go back in the advanced features, you can see that we went through everything from top to bottom. And now you know all the advanced features that your phone comes with. Alright, so the very first thing I want to show you guys has to do with the lock screen. So when you turn off the device and you go to the lock screen, you'll see that there's going to be a clock in the middle. I'm going to show you how to customize this clock as well. But if you tap the clock, no matter what form the clock is in, it's going to expand and give you this clock over here with the seconds and the date. Okay, so all you do is tap on the clock and boom, that's what you get. So we're going to come back to the lock screen a little bit, but right now I want to talk about the home screen and how you can modify and customize every single thing in the home screen. Now it looks very simple, but with Samsung smartphones there's always a lot more going on under the actual simplistic look. So first and foremost, I'm going to show you a couple things over here. So if I swipe over, as you can see, there's a bunch of apps just sitting on the home screen and they're scattered all over the place. It doesn't look very nice. There's a couple ways you can actually organize these apps. The first thing you can do is you can press and hold on the home screen anywhere or just pinch it, and then you have these two buttons over here at the bottom and the top. If you tap these guys, if you tap them on the bottom, it's actually going to align them towards the bottom, okay? But what you can also do is you can tap on the top one over here, and that's going to align them on the top. So if your apps are scattered all over the place, this is a very nice, quick and easy way to actually clean up your messy home screen. The next thing has to do with actually movement of these apps. So normally on many other smartphones, If you wanted to move a bunch of apps from one screen to the next screen, you would have to do it one by one, which is a pain in the ass. So you have to grab one of them, put it right there. Then you have to grab another one, put it right over there. With the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus, and even the previous versions, you can do a lot more than that. So let's start like this. So let's press and hold on the Samsung Pay. Let's say I want to grab 4 of these apps. I want to put it on this screen. So I'm going to press and hold on one of the apps, any app, and choose Select Items. That allows you to select multiple apps at the same time. So let me select this, this, and this. And then what you can do is you can grab all these together, bring it over here, and just dump it right there. And it's going to drop right next to the other application that I had there already. So very quickly and efficiently, I was able to transfer a bunch of apps from one screen to the other. Now, the other thing you can do with the same concept is if you, again, press and hold on any one of these apps, bring up select items, tap on that, and then select all the items. For example, let's say that all these items were the same type of apps. Let's say they were photo apps. What you can do is you can, on the top here, after you select these items, you have these options such as uninstalling, removing from home screen, or do a create folder. So what I like to do is I like to create folders to organize everything. So I can just create an instant folder, give the folder a name. Let's just say photos, or let's just say media. And we're just assuming it is a media folder. And then I give it a nice color code. You can pick pre-selected colors over here, or you can tap on the color selector and just about pick any color that you want. Okay, so now we have a little folder sitting right over here. And you'll notice that the 999 here is reflecting from the Gmail app. Okay, so we can remove, if you remove the Gmail app over here, that 999 disappears and carries over to the Gmail app. And of course, you can do the same thing to the actual folders as well. So I can press and hold on a folder, I can select the entire folder and then select this app and then grab these guys and just move them over to this side. Okay, so you don't have to actually just perform that operation on a single app. You can perform that operation on any app that you want. And also talk about one more thing. I'm going to show you one more time though. Again, if you press and hold on one of the apps, and if you say select items, and if you select 3 of these together, and let's say you don't want these 3 on your home screen anymore, you can just tap on remove from home and they're gone. And that's just another way to clean up your home screen. So let's keep this here on the side for a minute. I'm going to show you one more thing. If you swipe over, it takes you into your app drawer. And everything I just showed you also applies to your app drawer. So you can do the same exact thing on your app drawer. So let me just give you an example. So let's say I wanted to create a folder inside here. All I do is I can press and hold on one of these guys. Oops, press and hold. Select item. I can select these 3 and I can create a folder right here. I can just say new for now, give it a color code. Boom, it's right there, okay? And on top of that, what you can do is you can, again, select either individual apps or folders. Select item, 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 item. You can grab all of them together, so they're grouped together right now, and I can drag them to the home screen at the same time, okay? So that's also absolutely fantastic. Now, I like my home screen nice and clean, so I'm going to take all these guys and just, throw them away for now, remove from home screen. The next thing I want to talk about has to do with when you press and hold on the screen or pinch the screen, you come up to this menu called Home Screen Settings. If you tap on the Home Screen Settings, you have a lot of options here. The quick option I want you to set up immediately is called the Quick Open Notification Panel. Make sure this is enabled. By default, it is actually turned off. So basically what this allows you to do is, let me show you what it does, or what it doesn't do first. Let me disable that. Let me go back out. If you swipe up, it takes you to the app drawer. If you swipe down, it takes you to the app drawer. Now that feels redundant. So what you can do is you can actually enable that option. And then, now when you swipe up, you still go to the app drawer, but when you swipe down, it pulls down your notifications panel, which is fantastic. Okay, so you can actually bring this down by swiping anywhere on the screen. And of course, you can swipe it one time and then one more time to expand your quick toggle notifications. So that's that option. Let's go back in here, look at all the other options. So this one over here is called the home screen layout. If you tap on this guy, you have two different options. First one is you can have home and app screens, which is what we have right now. So this is the home screen and this is the app screen. What you can do is you can eliminate the app screen altogether and have all these apps simply transfer to your home screen as add-on home pages. Okay, so I don't recommend doing that, but if you want to take a look at how it looks, you can press and hold, go to home screen settings, tap on this guy, and just choose home screen only. Again, that's going to destroy your app drawer and it's going to create a bunch of home screens with apps on it. You can always revert back, but you will lose your old layout. So if you're going to do this, make sure that when you go back, you're going to have to reset everything on your home screen. Okay, so I'm not going to do it, but it's something you can do. The next thing over here is the home screen grid. So with this one, you can do either 4x5, which means you can have 5 apps this way and 4 apps this way. Or you can do 4x6. This means you can have 6 apps this way and 4 apps that way. And you can do 5x5, which is what I prefer. It's nice and symmetrical. Or you can do 5x6. The higher the number, the more apps you can have on the actual screen. Okay, so with 5x5, you can have 25 apps on the screen. With 5x6, you can have 30 apps on the screen, and so on and so forth. With this, you can do the math over here as well. So let's keep it at 5x5, and then let's go back into the actual settings. You can do the same exact thing in the apps screen grid, and to be honest, I like to go there and I like to keep it at maximum. So if you do 4x6, as you can see, you have 6 apps this way, 4 apps that way. But why not add as many apps as you can to one screen? Then you can go like this. Then again, some people like more clarity. If you want to see more, you can go like this. If you want to have more, you can go like that. Okay, so let's do 4x6 for now. Click apply, and that's what I'm going to be getting in my apps drawer. Let's go back out. Let me go back right into the settings screen. Press and hold, home screen settings, and then we have the apps button. If you tap the apps button, that allows you to actually show an app drawer button. So I can tap on show apps button, click apply, and boom, now we have an application button right over here. So if I tap this, it will go to my apps drawer. Now I don't like to have that because I can always do this, and that's very easy to do. So let's go back here and then put it back to the hide, click apply. And then the next one is app icon badges. If you click on this, you can either, let me actually bring up an app that actually has a badge right now. So let's grab this application, put it over here for a minute. So as you can see, there's a badge there. It says I have 999 emails. That just means 999 plus. 999 is the maximum number you can have. So if I go over here, and if I tap on home screen settings, and if I tap on app icon badges, I can actually do show with number, which is what I have right now, or I can do show without number, which is a cleaner and simpler look. It is also a feature of Android 8.0. So if I go back out here, now there's a tiny little dot on it telling me that there is a notification, but it is not as obnoxious as a 999. So it looks much more cleaner. Additionally, what I can do is if you don't like any of those, you can just turn off app icon badges completely, and then you will not see those tiny dots. So let's go back in here. Let's enable this. I do like to see them. I'm going to keep them simple for now, but you can do a couple of other things if you so desire. You can come and take a look at this option. Now let's go back out, and then we already talked about this. Portrait mode is the mode that allows you to prevent the home screen from rotating. So if I have this enabled, and if I rotate my phone, it's not going to give you the rotational look. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you can have this look over here if you wanted to. That's a landscape orientation, and that's the portrait orientation. Some people like to keep it exactly like this, so they lock it in place. So if you do want to keep it locked in this orientation so it doesn't flip back and forth, you can go to the home screen settings and just make sure this is enabled. Something I like to do, in fact, and that's one thing. And then this one over here is when you go to the Play Store and you install a new app, do you want the app to show up right here automatically or not? It's something I don't like to do. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me go to the settings over here. Let me click OK. Let's enable that option. Now let's go to the Play Store and just download a quick app. Let's find a tiny app here, whatever this is, Thrive. So let's install this application. Now it's going to download an application, and let me just enable the Wi-Fi here. It's installed, and as you can see, it actually added a quick shortcut to my home screen. Now I don't like that. I like everything to go to my app drawer, and then I can go into the drawer, and whatever I want, I can grab it and I can put it on the actual home screen. So if you go over here and if you actually disable this option, and then if you go back into the Play Store, and let's download this one over here, whatever that is, install. So it's going to download that application. It's installing it right now. But this time, after the installation is complete, as you can see, it did not add a shortcut on the home screen, which guarantees that going forward, my home screen is going to be clean. All right, so that was the last thing in here that I wanted to actually talk about. So as you can see, even though when you look at the home screen, it looks simple, it's not as simple as it looks. I also want to talk about the actual notifications panel. Not this area where you get notifications, that's pretty simple and straightforward, but about this area that is your quick toggles. So there's a quick trick here that a lot of people do not know. So the easy thing is if you tap on this setting, for example, that's the Wi-Fi, it turns off the Wi-Fi. If you tap it again, it turns on the Wi-Fi. Now if you actually tap on the text, it expands that setting right in here. So you can do even more. And once you're done, you can click done, or you can tap on details, and that takes you into the full detailed settings for that particular option. Now you can also, what you can also do is if you press and hold anywhere on one of these quick toggles, it also takes you into the full settings of that option. Okay, so let me do that one more time so you can see it clearly. As you can see, I pressed and hold it, and boom, I'm right in the settings. Now let's do that one more time. So with the sound, for example, if I tap on the actual sound, it changes the sound profiles. But like I said, if I want to see more details, I can tap on the text, and that gives me more options, and it's more visually enhanced. So I can tap on vibrate, mute, or whatever. Okay, and I can also change the ringtone from here. Okay, and of course when I'm done, I can click done. It takes me back into the actual notifications panel. Now this applies to all these options. The flashlight, if I tap on the text, as you can see, I can turn it on. I can change the intensity, which you cannot see right now, but it is turned on, as you can see. Okay, so you can change the intensity of that flashlight. When I'm done, I click done. And same with the power savings mode. If I click this, it turns on the power savings mode, gives me the option. I'm not going to do it right now. But if I do tap on the text, it shows me more options that I can play with. And again, I can tap on details. Boom, it goes right in. Now on top of that, one more thing with the notifications panel is some people don't use these settings the way I use them. So what you can do is you can reorder these things left and right. So all you want to do is once you expand them like this, tap on this icon and just tap on button order. From here, you can take the things that you use more often to the front end. Okay, so I can put the power saving right there. I can take the performance mode, I can put it right there. Now when I click done, I have power savings, performance, the Wi-Fi, and the vibrational settings right over here. And they're also going to show up in the smaller version over here. Okay, so let's go back and let me show you one more thing here. So you can change the layout, but you also change the size. So the button grid can be changed to 3x3, 5x3, or 4x3. The lesser the number, the less you're going to see on the screen, but you're going to get more. But you'll be able to see things easier if you go by a smaller grid number. And finally, with the lock screen, as you can see, we have a brightness slider here. What you can do is you can enable this at the first pull down. Okay, so you have to pull it twice to bring this up. But if you tap this arrow here, you can tap show control on top and then click done. And now when I pull down the notifications panel, that control, the quick brightness slider, shows up right there, which is a great little thing to have to quickly adjust the brightness. Okay, so again, if you don't have this, and if you pull this down, it's not going to show up. You have to pull it twice to show it up. I like to keep it just like this, show control on top. All right, and that was the notifications panel. All right, so the very first tip has to do with the keyboard. So let me launch any application that's going to be using the keyboard. Let's do this one. Tap over here, and there's the keyboard. Now with the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus, the keyboard has gotten a slightly different layout. As you can see on the top, you have a bar that has a settings button here and also an arrow that points downwards. So basically when you tap on that arrow downwards, it reveals more menu options. The one that I want to talk about right now is the one-handed keyboard. So if you tap this guy, the keyboard actually gets minimized, not minimized, gets resized to a more manageable size so you can use it with one thumb. So if you're holding your phone like this and you want to just talk with one hand in a text message or just do some research on the web, you can use one hand just like this to type it. Now if you are right-handed and you want to have the keyboard on this side, you just tap on this thing and it actually moves over there. It becomes right justified, or you can left justified. And when you're done using the one-handed mode, all you do is tap this icon here, and that's going to resize the keyboard to its regular size. All right, so that's tip number one. So tip number two, if you look at my messages application right over here, on the top right, it says 4. That simply means I have 4 messages. Now, you can actually change that icon to something completely different. So you can actually customize that little red circle that has a number in it. Now let me show you how to get that done. So what you want to do is you want to go to the settings right over here and then go into the notifications. On the top it says app icon badges. Now first and foremost, you can actually just disable this. If you disable this, you're not going to see anything when somebody sends you a new message or you get a notification on any app. But if you do enable it, you'll be seeing by default the number of the things, notifications that you have. So let's go back in here. And if you tap on this side over here, of course, it's going to go right in. You can scroll down and you can say show with number, which I have right now, or you can do show without number. So in this scenario, when I go back out, you're going to see a little circle dot instead of the actual number. Now you can go one step further and you can go right back in there and you can enable the show notifications option here. So if I click this, what that's going to allow you to do is you can touch and hold an icon. So I can touch and hold it, and at a glance, it'll show me who sent me that message, and it's also going to show me the last message. Now, it's going to be changing for every other app. So this is the Messages app. So with this app, of course, you'll see who sent you the message. In this case, Pixel 2 XL, that phone sent me the message, and the last message received was hey. So that's a quick summary. Now, again, if you don't have this enabled, and if you press and hold, you're not going to see that quick notification preview. Okay, so I like to enable as much as I can to maximize my ownership. So I keep the numbers and also the show notifications. All right, so let's move on to the next tip. Now the other thing has to do with my messages as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send myself a text message right now so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. So let me send it right now. So as you can see, I'm going to get a notification icon on the top here. It says who sent it and what's the content. Now that's something you may want to disable for privacy reasons. So all you do is you go to messages, you tap on this icon on the side, go to settings, and then go into notifications. So make sure you go to new messages right over here. You tap on this thing, and then here it says importance. You tap on that, and you can actually disable the pop-up on screen. That thing we saw was a pop-up. So if you do high, then it's going to sound, it's going to give you the notification sound, but it's not going to show you the little pop-up window with the content and the sender of the actual text message. So let me go back out, let me show you, let me send myself a message right now and you will see the difference. Okay, so as you can see, I did get a new message. It's saying 1 over there, but it did not show me the pop-up notification, which is absolutely fantastic for privacy reasons, just in case you care. Okay, the next tip has to do with the actual display. So what I want you guys to do is go to the settings, and the first one is in the display itself. If you tap this guy, and if you scroll all the way down, make sure the block accidental touches is in fact enabled. what this is going to allow you to do is it's going to prevent the screen from detecting touch input while the phone is in a dark place, such as a pocket or a bag, which could actually prevent weird things from happening. Okay, so make sure this one is enabled. But the other one is, if you go to advanced features in the main menu and tap this guy and scroll all the way down, you'll see something called the touch sensitivity. Now this is only going to apply to people that are using a screen protector. So in my case, this does not need to be enabled, so I can disable that. But if you did have a screen protector, what that does is it actually takes away from the touch sensitivity on the screen a little bit, so you can enable this option, which is going to restore the touch sensitivity. So even with a screen protector, the screen can read your input perfectly. All right, so make sure you enable this if you have a screen protector, or disable it if you don't have one like me. All right, let's move on. Now the next tip has to do with the Edge screen. So I'm going to be making a full in-depth video about the Edge screen, but in this video I'm going to talk about the one option, one panel you can enable. These are the Edge panels right here that you can enable that gives you S Pen-like functionality on the Note series of the smartphones. It's not going to give you a full functionality, but it's going to try to emulate some of those functions. So let's go to the settings. Okay, by the way, if your Edge panel is disabled, you can go here instead of here. So you can actually pull this down, go to settings over here. You can simply go to display and just scroll down to the Edge screen, and then that takes you to the same settings we would have if we had actually tapped on this one here. So go to Edge panels, and let's just disable everything. I'm going to show you the one I'm talking about, but you do have to have one enabled at all times. So this is the one I'm talking about. It's called the Smart Select. So let's enable this and let's disable this, and let's go back out to the main screen. Now if you bring this in, you have now something called the Smart Select at your disposal. Smart Select allows you to capture any part of the screen using these various options. So you can do something like this, so rectangle. Okay, just confirm that. So I can actually choose, put this rectangle anywhere, resize it if I wanted to, and then click done. And what that happens is it actually saves that selected area into my gallery. But on top of that, I can actually draw on it. I can share it directly. I can obviously save it, or I can tap this and it can actually extract the text of the area that I selected. So this is also great for extracting text from a picture. Okay, and then let's go back. I'm going to show you one more thing here. If you go back over here again, you can tap oval. So with this one, it actually selects a circular shape, so you can actually resize this. You can select anywhere on the screen. Okay, you could have an app launch. You can actually be capturing the app. I'm just showing you the home screen for ease of demonstration. So let's click done, and boom, it selects that area. And again, if there's any text in the image, the phone will detect that, and it's going to allow you to extract the text from that image. Absolutely fantastic. And of course, there's a couple more options here that you can actually go ahead and play yourself. But these two tactics over here are the ones that interest me the most. All right. And the final thing I'm going to talk about has to do with your data plan. So let's go to the settings, and let's go into the actual connections, and let's go to data usage. So basically with this, what I like to do is I like to go down here, and I like to make sure that the mobile data usage here is properly set. So if I tap on this guy, you're going to see a couple things here. The most important thing here is that 2 GB warning sign. Every time I use 2 GB, I'm going to get a warning from my phone within this cycle, all right, this billing cycle. So the first thing I do is, if you tap over here on this settings screen, it allows you to set a limit for the warning. So I can change that limit to 10 GB. If I have a 10 GB plan and I don't want to go over it, I like to get a warning before I make that mistake, because if you do go over it, they're going to charge you some extra money. And then I can set on what date my billing cycle starts. You can basically copy this from your actual bill. So your bill might actually start on the 5th of each month. So click set. Now go back. So between March 5th and April 4th, if I go over 10 GB, if I come close to it, I'm going to be getting a warning. I recommend that you lower this number a little bit so you don't actually hit your real limit, but you get a warning. For example, if your real limit on your data package is 10 gigabytes, set this to be 9 gigabytes so you become aware that you're reaching the end. All right, so that is under data usage and mobile data usage right here. And of course, you can tap on these guys to make the same modifications. All right. So basically, Secure Folder allows you to create a hidden private vault that is locked down with a password into which you can pour in all your secrets, such as private photos, videos, music files, or any kind of file type that you desire. You can even hide apps and notes. Now, these files will be only accessible to you or someone that knows the password or the PIN number. So let's dive in and fully discover everything and how to get this thing up and running. All right, so the very first thing I want to show you is how to actually set up the Secure Folder for the first time in case you haven't done so already. So there's two ways to do it. The first thing you can do is you can go to your app drawer, then go to the Samsung folder, and you'll see that the Secure Folder will be sitting here. You just tap on it and you start the walkthrough. If you don't see it in the app drawer, what you can do is you can go to the settings, go to lock screen and security, and scroll just a little bit down, and you'll see that the Secure Folder is sitting right there. And you can also tap this from here, and when you do it for the first time, it's going to start the initial setup process. So basically it's saying keep prying eyes away from your private files and apps. And of course, as I have described, you can secure your private pictures, notes, and apps away in a total lockdown that nobody can have access to. So let's click next on this. And it's saying make secure copies of your apps, which is something you can also do. And let's just click start. I'm going to show you a couple examples to see exactly how this thing works. Now, one thing you are going to need is you're going to need a Samsung account to actually enable the Secure Folder. So make sure that you have an account and you are signed into it. Once you've done that, just click confirm. And then what it's going to ask you to do is it's going to ask you to pick a PIN number or a passcode for your actual Secure Folder. Now, I want you to understand that you can create a separate pattern, PIN, or a password that has nothing to do with your actual login information. So when you lock your phone, you may have a PIN number, you may have a password. This can be, in fact, separate. The only other thing you can use is you can use your fingerprints and your iris scans to unlock the Secure Folder, which is pretty fantastic. But you can, in fact, pick a separate PIN number other than the actual PIN you use for your smartphone. So let's click on PIN over here. Let me choose something simple for now. Let's just tap 000, 0000, click OK. And now we have everything ready to go. It's creating the Secure Folder. I'm going to show you exactly how it works by hiding a bunch of photos, text files to show you how it works. Okay, so the Secure Folder has launched. Let me go back outside. Once you do enable the Secure Folder, it always is going to show up somewhere in your app drawer. So in my case, is in my Samsung folder. So let me launch this really quick. As soon as I tap this, it's going to ask me to put my PIN number. So it's right now it's at a lockdown. I can also scan my eyeballs or whatever. But I'm just going to do the PIN number for this whole scenario. So let's click. Boom. So right now we're in the secure environment. What that means is if I go into these apps and perform any kind of functionality, it's simply going to stay secure. So everything I do with these apps right now via the Secure Folder path is going to actually stay in the Secure Folder area. So let me show you a couple other things. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Let's go back out. Let me go into my gallery. I'm going to move a photo into my Secure Folder. So let's go to gallery and let's go into the cameras over here. And let's say that I want to hide one of these pictures. Let's say this picture here is a special file and I want this saved. All you do is tap on this icon over here. Oops, on the top icon here, and then choose Move to Secure Folder, an option that's going to be available after you enable the Secure Folder. So if I tap this guy, it's going to ask me to put the password in for the Secure Folder. So let's put that in, or you can scan your eyeballs, but let's do that for now. And it's saying it's moving it, and boom, that picture has completely disappeared from my gallery folder. Let's do two more. Let's get this guy here. and let's get this guy here, and let's tap on that icon, and let's say move to secure folder. Again, put your PIN number in. Boom. So that those two photos are now completely gone and nobody can ever access them unless they have the password to the secure folder. So how do you access those photos after you hide them? So what you have to do is you have to go back into secure folder, go to Samsung, tap on secure folder, put your password in. As you can see, it's at a lockdown. And then from here, when you launch the gallery, those three pictures that I just hid are going to be right here, fully and completely inaccessible to anybody that does not have the secure folder PIN code or the password. Now let's say one of these pictures is not secure anymore. You actually want to unhide it. You can do that as well. So if this photo here is something you want to put back into your regular gallery, all you do is, again, tap in the icon right here and say move out of secure folder, and it's going to move it out. Okay, but you get the idea. So you can move pictures from your gallery and other files from anywhere on your phone into the secure folder. I'm going to show you one more thing. Now let's go to the camera here and let's take a picture. So I just took a picture, and that's a black picture. If I tap over here, that's the picture that it took. Of course, the camera is flat on the table. But this picture is available to everybody. Okay, now here's something else you can do. You can actually take secure photos right from the get-go. So what you have to do is you have to go to so for example, if I go to the regular gallery right now, that photo that I just took is right there, okay? What I could have done is I could have gone into the secure folder over here, put the PIN number in, and I could have launched the camera from here. So if I launch the camera here, this camera is already in secure format. So if I take a picture right now, it's actually going to save the file into the secure folder, which is fantastic. So if I click picture right now, it just took a photo, and that photo is not going to be available in the regular gallery, but if I go to this gallery, that photo is going to show up right there, the one that I took within secure folder when I launched the camera app inside of secure folder. So that's a great way to take pictures privately from the get-go. Let me show you one more example to hammer the concept home. So let's launch Samsung Notes. So let's go over here, let's just search for the Notes application. It should be right here. So here's Samsung Notes. If I tap on the Samsung Notes, I can create a new note, and let's just say non-secure. Okay, so I save this. Now I have a non-secure file, a note in my Samsung Notes application. And if I was to access this directly from the Samsung, from the App Store, I'm sorry, from the actual app drawer, it'll just show up. Anybody can see it as long as they're in the phone. Now if I go to the secure folder, and I tap the password in, and I launch Samsung Notes, it's not going to be in there. However, I can actually create a note here that is in fact secure. So I can click start here, so I have the notes, I can click plus, and now I can say secure. Okay, so remember, I launched this app through the secure folder. Now the secure note has been saved, and if I exit everything, I can go back to the regular Notes application over here that is not secure, and the secure file is not going to show up because I created that file while I was in the secure folder. So I'm sure you get the idea by now. So this is a fantastic little utility. Now what I want to do is you can do with this with just about anything. You can, let me go back here for a minute. Okay, so here's the secure folder. Let's tap this in. You can do this with gallery, calendar, contacts, email, camera, internet, my files, Samsung Notes. You can even add more apps. You can tap on this and you can create secure apps that are going to be private. Whatever you do in that app is going to be privatized to the actual secure folder, okay? So you can add apps. You can even add files. I can tap on this guy. It's going to launch the file manager. You can do it from here, or images, videos, audio. You can pick anything, okay? So if I were to go to audio, I have one music file here. I can choose this, and I can click done, and that will go into my secure folder. Okay, move the file or copy it. You have these options. I will just move the file, so that file is now only accessible through my files inside the secure folder. If I go into the audio, it's right there. Okay, fantastic. Now here's other things you can do to secure your secure folder. You can tap on the settings icon here, You can customize the icon for the secure folder so you can make it look less conspicuous. So let's say I can pick something as simple as this. Okay, so that's the icon, and then I can change this to secret, even though I wouldn't recommend that because then it's obvious that it's secret and people will tap on it as soon as they see that name. But let me show you how it looks like. So now the secure folder does not say secure folder anymore. It says secret with the new icon that I put on it. I can go back inside it and you can just, you know, make it look something like this. You can go to settings. Oops. You can go to the customize icon. And maybe you can just say finance. Okay. So that's obviously going to be password protected. And a lot of people simply when they see something like this, finance, they're not going to touch it anyway. Because if they tap on finance, and if it asks for a PIN number, it's kind of obvious that it's locked down because it's financial information, so they just back off. They don't think that you're hiding photos, videos, or other crazy stuff in there. But anyway, let me go back in here. Let me just edit that icon for a minute. Let's customize it. Let's just say secret folder. That icon here, just keep it nice and clean. Other things I want you guys to do with the secure folder, with the secret folder that I just renamed, is you can go to the settings and make sure that auto lock secure folder is set to be immediately. That means the moment you exit the secure folder, the phone gets locked down. If you choose one of these options, it's not good because then the phone is going to wait 5 minutes before it locks down the secure folder. So for 5 minutes, that secure folder is not in fact secure. So make sure it's immediately. So the moment you exit out of the secure folder and you go right back in, it's going to ask for a PIN number. So if I exit, boom, it's locked. Okay. If I didn't have immediately set up, it would take 5 minutes for it to lock. Now, if I try to go back in, it's going to ask me for the code. If you go back into the settings over here, you have a bunch of other things. You can go to notifications. You can create individual notifications for everything in the secure folder. So if you're using the messages application here or the calendar application and you get a private notification, do you want that notification to show or do you want that notification to be hidden from the outside world? So those are the options you want to play with. And of course, this I would recommend that you enable, because if you disable this, secure folder disappears and then you have to access it from the settings, which is a pain in the ass. I recommend that you enable this so you can always see the secure folder, but I do recommend that you change the name and the icon of the secure folder from here. Okay, so it looks like maybe a finance application or whatever. Now let's go back into settings over here, and you have a bunch of other options here you can come and play with. But basically that is the idea of secure folder. Photos, videos, music files, individual files, any kind of file you can hide in the secure folder. Again, if I go back out and if I go to, for example, the File Explorer over here, that's just a File Explorer. And let's say I go into the document files over here. There's a voice recording over here. Let's say I want to hide this. All I do is press and hold, tap on that icon, and move to secret folder. Okay? And as you can see, the new name of the actual folder reflects in your menu as well. So that's a great option. Anything can be moved from the File Explorer. So that's one more tip. If you go to My Files and you want to hide anything, you can do it right from here. That's great. Okay, so that is in fact the secure folder for your Samsung Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus. And the good news is secure folder is built into the Samsung and secured by Samsung. So nobody can uninstall it. Okay, so everything is always secure under your PIN number and your password. Now, not all of us need to extend our battery lives if we have access to chargers or carry portable power banks. But many of us might actually benefit from battery life extension tactics if we are not surrounded by chargers all the time. So let's dive in and discover. And also, if you're wondering what case I'm using on my Galaxy S9 Plus or S9, I will drop a link to this case in the description box down below. So the one thing that eats battery life more than anything else is the actual screen. So as long as the screen is turned on, it is eating massive battery life. So what you want to do is you want to make sure to actually set the proper brightness and also make sure that the screen turns off automatically when it's not being used. So the first thing you want to take a look at is the screen timeout setting. So let's go to the settings really quick. Go into the display and scroll down over here to where it says screen timeout, and make sure that you pick the lowest setting possible, which in this case is 15 seconds. So if I choose this one, and if I just put the phone on the table and walk away, in 15 seconds the phone is going to turn off the screen. Alright, so I have mine turned on to 2 minutes because I'm actually recording a video and I need the screen to actually stay on. So I'm going to put it back to 2 minutes here. Actually 5 minutes is fine too. But if you are doing it, make sure that it is at 15 seconds or 30 seconds, and that's going to make sure that eats minimum amount of battery life using the display. Now the other thing you want to do is change the screen resolution. So the screen resolution of the Samsung Galaxy S9 and the S9 Plus is astounding. It's a great high screen resolution. So you go over here again in the display, you tap on it, and make sure that you have it in the middle. Okay, so you're not going to lose too much visual quality. The higher this is, the more pixels you're going to see on the screen. But the naked eye really is going to have a tough time seeing the big difference between the QHD Plus and the regular full high definition Plus. So make sure to keep this over here in the middle to get the best possible battery life and also the best quality. Now if you drop it down to HD Plus, you get this low screen resolution, and in that scenario you may actually see a decrease in sharpness of overall image quality when you're looking at pictures and videos. But if you keep it in the middle here, you'll be perfectly fine. This is one of those features that is going to dramatically save you some battery life going forward. And inside the display, the final thing I want to take a look at is the brightness. So what I recommend you do is, I don't recommend that you pick up auto brightness, even though it adjusts the brightness automatically based on ambient lighting conditions. Sometimes when you're under direct sunlight, the auto brightness will maximize the brightness settings, okay? And that's going to eat massive amounts of battery life. So what I recommend is, I recommend you keep it at 25% at all times. And then if you need it, you can manually adjust it. Okay, you have to be a power user if you want to save battery life. Now here's what I do recommend. You don't want to come to the display every single time to adjust the brightness slider. So do this. When you pull down the notifications panel, I made sure that the brightness slider shows up right there. If yours is not showing, what's happening is the option is disabled. What you can do is you can pull it down again and then you'll see it, and then tap on that arrow over here and say show control on top. So if I disable this, for example, and if I just pull this down one time, it's not going to show up. I have to pull it twice for it to actually show up. But if you want it to show quickly for quick access, just enable show control on top, and then you can quickly and easily adjust the slider whenever it is necessary. Okay, so that's all the settings with the display that you need to tweak to maximize battery life. Let's move on and talk about the battery savers modes. So if you go to the settings, go back to the settings, and if you go into device maintenance, you're going to see the device maintenance options. At the bottom here on the left, you have the battery option. If you tap on it, it takes you into a menu that kind of looks advanced, and from here it can save a lot of battery life. The very first thing you can do when you ever come here is tap this blue button if it's available, okay? That's instantly going to save some battery life for you by killing applications that are draining battery in the background without you noticing it. So for example, Best Buy, Instagram, and Pages Manager, and a bunch of these apps have been using some battery life in the background right now. They're using it right now, and I don't really need them, so I'm just going to tap Save Power, and it's going to start to put those applications to sleep so they don't eat any more battery life. And as you can see, that extended my battery life a little bit. So that's the first thing you want to do. The other thing you want to do is take a look at this advanced power menu over here. This is the power savings mode. It is turned off right now. You have the medium power savings mode and you have the maximum power savings mode. When you tap on the medium power savings mode, it's going to actually make some modifications to your phone to extend your battery life. So the things it's going to do is it's going to actually turn off background network usage, which eats a battery life. It's going to turn off the always on display, which also eats battery life. And I do recommend you turn this off anyway. Okay, I'm going to show you how to do that in a little bit. And with this mode though, it does get disabled automatically. It also allows you to enable a speed limiter for the CPU and decreases the brightness by 10%, and also changes the screen resolution to full HD plus, which is what we have right now anyway. The great thing with this little thing is it's customizable. So if you do not want the speed limiter enabled, you can disable it as I've done right now. Or you can tap it, and that's going to limit the maximum performance of the CPU, which is also going to save you some battery life. But as you change these settings, I want you to take a look at over here at the bottom. It's gonna add extra battery life to your smartphone, and it actually changes it in real time. So if I disable this, it is 4 hours and 42 minutes. I'm sorry, enable this, it's 4 hours and 42 minutes. If I disable it, it's going to be 4 hours and 26 minutes of extra battery life. By the same token, if I enable this, as you can see, the battery life savings just went down a little bit. But if I disable the background network usage, it gives me more battery life. Okay, and you can also always tap on details over here. That goes even more into details, and you can actually make the settings and tweaks right over here. So you can pick up if you want to disable or enable this, disable or enable, disable or enable, and you can also tweak the brightness. So as you can see, just by decreasing the brightness by 10%, I'm saving 1 hour and 3 minutes of battery life. If I move this over and decrease it by 5% as opposed to what I have right now, I'm only going to save 38 minutes of battery life. And if I don't change it, I save 0 minutes of battery life, which makes sense because there's going to be no modifications. So that's the medium power savings mode. You can come and you can play with it, and at the bottom you can always see in real time how much extra battery life you're going to be adding to your phone based on your current use. So when you're ready, you can click apply. Let me just show you what it looks like. Click apply, and it's going to actually do all the things we actually set it to do so, and then it's going to go to the medium. So let's turn that off for now and go back to what we had. So that's the medium power savings mode. Now what about the maximum power savings mode? That's something that's designed for a pinch. So if you look over here, the medium power savings mode is going to give you 25 hours of battery life as opposed to 21 that I have right now. But the maximum power savings mode gives you 73 hours of battery life. And the reason it does that is because it basically shuts off everything. So let me show you what it looks like. Tap on max, click apply, and boom, the phone is going to actually change to a black screen. It's going to turn off just about everything. As you can see, everything is getting turned off here. And after everything is set up, this is what you end up with. Okay, this is all you get. You get the phone, messages, internet, settings. You can add 4 more apps over here to use. You're not going to be able to add all the apps. You can add apps like WhatsApp. You can even add YouTube. I don't recommend that because that does eat battery life. But you can add calculator. You can add email. You can add Google. Let's just say Gmail and Google. So you can only add necessary apps to survive. But as you can see, with 86% battery life, you get 73 hours of battery life. Okay, so that's if you're in a pinch and you need a quick extension. I only recommend that you enable this if you only have 10 or 15% of battery life left on your smartphone and the battery is draining fast. So forget about that. When you're done with this, you can tap on turn off, and that'll go back into the regular phone. And now what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about a couple other settings you can turn off to actually extend battery life even more. So for example, if you go into the quick toggles over here, turn off Bluetooth. If you're not using Bluetooth, turn it off because it is eating battery life without even you realizing. And also, if you're in the house and you already have a Wi-Fi connection, you can keep that enabled, but you can always go into the settings, go into connections, and actually turn off the data. So the data usage is right here. When you are in that menu, you go to mobile data and you simply disable this. But again, I wouldn't touch this one particularly because then when you leave the house, you have to return it, you re-enable it. so you might forget, and then you're not going to be connected to the internet on the go. This is not that big of a deal, but you can turn off the Bluetooth if you're not using it, and that's also going to save you some battery life. And of course, the final thing I want to talk about is the always on display. So basically, make sure you turn off the always on display if battery life is a big concern, because always on display is one of those things that eats battery life pretty heavily. So let's go to the settings. What you want to do is you want to go to the lock screen and security, and then scroll down a little bit, and always on display comes right up here. Now mine is turned on, but it's turned on as a minimum. Most people have it like this. Okay, when you buy the phone, if you don't tweak it, it comes like this. So when you turn off the phone, you're going to see an always on display in the background. Even when you turn off your screen, you'll see this thing right here. Okay, so that is draining your battery. It's not going to go away. So what you want to do is you want to go back inside. Let me go back in and make sure always on display is turned off because it is going to eat battery life very, very heavily. Okay, so turn that off if you're having problems with your battery life. Some of these features are really nice to have, but they do come at a cost of eating your battery. And that's it. That was the last tip. All right, so if I did forget something, if I forgot to mention a good feature that you may know about, just drop a comment down below and let others know. And of course, make sure to subscribe to SAKITECH and give this video a thumbs up for more videos to come. And finally, if you do use Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, follow me at SAKITECH Online. All right, guys, have a fantastic day for now.